In a world that celebrates sharpness, competition and control, softness is often mistaken for weakness. Yet, a hard heart cannot feel joy, cannot give love and cannot find peace. The more the world pushes you to become unfeeling, the more vital it becomes to remain gentle within. True strength is not in becoming stone, it is in staying human when everything around you tries to make you cold. A soft heart is not fragile. It is the deepest form of power because it can bend, heal and still remain open. Softness is not weakness, it is the highest form of strength. A gentle heart does not break easily because it knows how to bend without losing its essence. A hard heart resists everything, but resistance eventually cracks under pressure. Softness, on the other hand, flows like water. It moves around obstacles, not against them. It adapts, endures and heals. When your heart remains soft in the face of cruelty, you are not losing, you are mastering yourself. Strength built on softness lasts longer than the kind built on aggression because it is born from awareness, not fear. The world often glorifies hardness as a sign of power, but that power is fragile. Hardness can shatter when it meets something stronger, but softness absorbs and transforms. A soft heart can hold pain without becoming bitter and can experience disappointment without closing itself off. It can stay kind even after being hurt. This ability to feel deeply and still remain open is not a weakness, it is rare courage. The soft heart may bleed, but it never turns to stone. Its strength lies in its ability to feel everything yet not be destroyed by anything. When you allow softness to lead, you move through life with grace instead of resistance. You stop fighting every challenge and start flowing through it with understanding. A soft heart knows when to act, when to yield, and when to simply be still. It does not react out of fear but responds out of clarity. This softness does not mean surrender to others' cruelty. It means refusing to let their darkness infect your light. It means protecting your peace without losing your humanity. Such softness is not passive. It is powerful because it is grounded in control and self-awareness. True softness also brings wisdom. It teaches you to listen before you speak and to understand before you judge. A hard heart sees only conflict, but a soft heart sees reasons, wounds and pain behind people's actions. It is not easily fooled, yet it chooses kindness over revenge. It learns from every hurt, but never lets pain become its identity. Softness keeps your heart alive, sensitive and intelligent. It gives you the power to connect deeply with others and the strength to forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Hardness is a defense, softness is awareness. The heart hardens when it fears pain, but awareness allows it to remain open even in suffering. When you are aware, you see pain not as punishment but as a teacher. A hard heart blocks pain but also blocks love, compassion and joy. Awareness gives you the ability to hold both pain and peace in the same space. It is not about avoiding what hurts, but about understanding it without losing balance. A heart that is aware remains soft because it knows that every experience, pleasant or painful, is shaping something greater within. A soft heart understands that control is an illusion. The world will not move according to your wishes, and life will not always be gentle. But softness is not about control, it is about connection. It means staying open to the flow of life, trusting that whatever comes is part of your growth. Hardness makes you resist, and resistance breeds exhaustion. Softness allows you to move with the rhythm of life, bending but never breaking. It is not submission. It is intelligent surrender, the kind that brings inner peace even in the face of chaos. Softness also gives depth to perception. A hard heart reacts quickly, blinded by judgment and ego. A soft heart pauses, listens and sees beyond appearances. It understands that every act of cruelty is born from ignorance or pain. This insight does not excuse wrong actions, but it prevents hatred from growing within. By remaining soft, you protect your inner purity from being poisoned by bitterness. This sensitivity is strength because it gives you the power to respond consciously instead of reacting blindly. A soft heart leads with compassion, not pride. It does not need to prove its worth through dominance or control. True strength lies in the ability to stay kind when the world is cruel, to stay calm when the world is loud, and to stay pure when the world is corrupt. A soft heart loves without attachment, helps without expectation, and forgives without forgetting the lesson. It does not deny pain, it transforms it into wisdom. Such a heart cannot be manipulated because it is free from fear and ego. Pain is not meant to destroy you, it is meant to awaken you. When pain enters your life, it strips away illusions and forces you to face what you have long avoided. It is the fire that burns away pride, ego, and false identity, leaving behind only truth. People often see pain as punishment, but it is the deepest form of guidance life can offer. When you stop running from pain and allow it to teach you, it shows where you have become disconnected from yourself. It exposes your attachments and weaknesses, not to shame you, but to make you conscious of what truly matters. Pain refines the soul in a way that comfort never can. Comfort makes you complacent, pain makes you aware. Every wound carries wisdom if you are willing to listen. It reveals your strength and teaches you compassion because only those who have suffered truly understand the suffering of others. The softness of the heart is often born in the hardest moments of life. Pain cleanses you of arrogance, reminding you that you are human, fragile, and still learning. This humility brings clarity, and from that clarity, true strength emerges. When you resist pain, you create suffering. Resistance hardens the heart and traps you in bitterness. But when you accept pain as a natural part of existence, you begin to see its transformative power. Pain is not an enemy to fight, but a messenger to understand. It teaches you to let go of what no longer serves your growth. Acceptance does not mean weakness, it means wisdom. It means recognizing that life's harshness often carries hidden blessings, that every loss is making space for something purer to grow. Pain also deepens your relationship with life. It connects you with your inner truth, breaking the layers of pretense and forcing you to feel fully. You begin to appreciate moments of peace because you know what chaos feels like. You begin to value love because you have known loss. You begin to help others because you know what it means to struggle alone. Pain softens the heart by expanding your empathy. It turns you into a being who does not just survive life but understands it from its very core. Compassion is not a sign of weakness, it is the highest form of power. When you choose compassion, you step beyond the boundaries of ego and reaction. Anger feeds on your energy and blinds you to truth, but compassion clears the mind and steadies the heart. It does not mean allowing injustice, it means responding with intelligence rather than impulse. A compassionate heart cannot be manipulated by hate because it understands the difference between strength and cruelty. Compassion is not softness that surrenders, it is awareness that sees through the illusion of conflict and refuses to become a mirror of negativity. Compassion protects your inner space from being poisoned by resentment. When you hold anger, you carry the pain of others within yourself, turning their darkness into your burden. Compassion breaks this cycle. It allows you to see the brokenness behind someone's cruelty and the ignorance behind their arrogance. This understanding frees you from reaction and restores balance to your mind. When you act with compassion, you no longer fight battles that are not yours to fight, you respond with clarity, not chaos. You choose peace without losing power. Compassion is not a sign of weakness, it is the highest form of power. When you choose compassion, you step beyond the boundaries of ego and reaction. Anger feeds on your energy and blinds you to truth, but compassion clears the mind and steadies the heart. It does not mean allowing injustice, it means responding with intelligence rather than impulse. A compassionate heart cannot be manipulated by hate because it understands the difference between strength and cruelty. Compassion is not softness that surrenders, it is awareness that sees through the illusion of conflict and refuses to become a mirror of negativity. Compassion protects your inner space from being poisoned by resentment. When you hold anger, you carry the pain of others within yourself, turning their darkness into your burden. Compassion breaks this cycle. It allows you to see the brokenness behind someone's cruelty and the ignorance behind their arrogance. This understanding frees you from reaction and restores balance to your mind. When you act with compassion, you no longer fight battles that are not yours to fight. You respond with clarity, not chaos. You choose peace without losing power. A compassionate heart has the courage to stay open when the world demands that you close. It allows you to feel deeply without being consumed by emotion. Compassion does not deny pain, it looks directly at it and transforms it. It turns wounds into wisdom and hate into healing. Such a heart cannot be defeated because it does not depend on circumstances to stay whole. It stays steady in love even when surrounded by hostility. Compassion becomes a shield made not of resistance, but of understanding so vast that nothing can penetrate it. Forgiveness is not about others, it is about releasing yourself from the prison of anger and resentment. When you hold on to bitterness, you carry the weight of the past wherever you go. It poisons your peace and steals your present moment. Many believe forgiveness means accepting what happened or excusing it, but that is not the truth. Forgiveness simply means you are choosing not to let someone else's actions control your emotions any longer. It is not about erasing memory, it is about freeing your heart from being defined by pain. When you refuse to forgive, you give power to what hurt you. You keep reliving the wound, feeding it energy and letting it grow. The mind repeats stories of injustice and slowly, your heart becomes hardened. Forgiveness cuts that endless loop. It allows you to see the situation with clarity rather than anger. It shifts your focus from what was done to you toward what you can learn from it. The moment you forgive, the past loses its grip, you begin to breathe again, not for others, but for your own liberation. Forgiveness is strength in its purest form. It requires courage to face the pain without vengeance, to release the anger without needing an apology. Only a strong person can forgive because only strength can rise above the need to retaliate. Weakness clings to hatred, but strength lets go and moves forward. When you forgive, you declare that peace within you is more important than punishment outside you. You reclaim your power by refusing to let negativity dictate your emotional world. Forgiveness also brings wisdom. It shows you that every person acts from their vulnerability is not a flaw, it is the purest expression of strength. To be vulnerable means to stand without armor, to face life as it is without hiding behind masks of control or perfection. It is easy to pretend, to act tough, to bury emotions under silence. But that is not strength, it is fear disguised as confidence. True power comes when you allow yourself to be seen in your truth, when you no longer hide your fears, pain or uncertainty. Vulnerability means accepting your humanity fully, without shame, without resistance. It is not weakness, it is the courage to live authentically in a world that glorifies pretension. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you open the door to genuine connection. Pretending to be invincible builds walls, but openness builds bridges. People are drawn not to perfection but to truth. Vulnerability reveals the depth of your heart. It allows others to see not your strength alone, but your sincerity. It teaches you to communicate with honesty instead of pride and to love without fear of rejection. When you expose your soul, you give others permission to do the same. This is how real relationships, real growth and real healing begin. Detachment does not mean indifference, it means clarity. When you detach, you no longer lose yourself in emotions or situations, yet you still experience them fully. You see life as it is without being blinded by desire or fear. Detachment allows you to love deeply without possession, to care sincerely without control. It is not about walking away from life, but about engaging with it consciously. When you are detached, your peace no longer depends on outcomes, and your happiness is not tied to how others behave. You become the observer of life, not the prisoner of it. To detach is to understand that everything in life is temporary. People change, moments pass, and circumstances shift. Holding on too tightly only brings suffering. Detachment teaches you to flow with life instead of fighting against it. You can love someone and still let them be free. You can give your best to a situation and still accept whatever result comes. This balance comes from knowing that your worth is not determined by success or failure, gain or loss. Detachment frees you from emotional extremes and keeps your heart steady even in chaos. When you practice detachment, you do not suppress emotion, you transcend it. You still feel pain, joy, anger or love, but you no longer get lost in them. You feel deeply but do not drown. Detachment gives your emotions space to move through you instead of control you. It allows you to respond rather than react. This awareness gives strength because you begin to act from understanding rather than impulse. It brings a calmness that cannot be disturbed by external noise, for your stability now comes from within, not from the changing tides of life. Detachment deepens relationships instead of weakening them. When you stop clinging, love becomes purer, not desperate. You stop expecting others to complete you and start sharing from wholeness. This kind of love is unconditional because it is not based on control or need. Detachment lets you see people as they are, not as you wish them to be. You love without ownership, support without suffocation, and care without demand. This creates space for mutual respect and genuine connection, where love flows freely instead of being chained by expectation. Detachment is the art of living with open hands. It allows you to hold life gently, knowing nothing truly belongs to you, yet everything can be experienced fully. It gives you the strength to stay calm when things fall apart and the grace to stay humble when things go well. Detachment is not escaping life. It is embracing it without losing yourself in it. It teaches you to walk through joy without attachment and through pain without resistance. Gratitude is the quiet force that keeps the heart from growing cold. When you begin to notice the small things, a breath, a sunrise, a kind word, you awaken something sacred within yourself. Life becomes less about what is missing and more about what is already here. Gratitude does not depend on perfection, it thrives in imperfection. It teaches you to find beauty in the cracks, meaning in the struggle, and peace in the ordinary. When you choose to be grateful, you stop feeding resentment. You begin to live with open eyes, realizing that even pain has been shaping you for something deeper. A grateful heart does not complain about what it lacks, it recognizes the abundance already present. It knows that every breath is a gift and every experience is a teacher. Gratitude dissolves comparison and envy because it brings attention back to what truly matters. The moment you shift from wanting more to appreciating what you have, life starts to feel full. It is not about pretending everything is perfect, but about seeing perfection in the fact that you are still growing, still learning, still alive. Gratitude turns survival into living and moments into blessings. Gratitude also softens pain. When you face loss, hardship or betrayal, it is gratitude that keeps your heart from hardening. It reminds you that even in darkness, light still exists. It shifts your focus from what ended to what was gained through the experience. Every heartbreak teaches compassion, every challenge strengthens resilience, and every ending opens the door to something new. Gratitude does not erase sorrow, it gives it purpose. It transforms pain into understanding and keeps bitterness from poisoning the soul. In relationships, gratitude is the foundation of harmony. When you appreciate others instead of expecting from them, love flows naturally. It reminds you to see people not through their mistakes, but through their efforts. A grateful heart forgives easily because it understands that everyone is trying to find their way. It values presence over perfection. Gratitude turns judgment into empathy and distance into connection. It brings peace not by changing people, but by changing how you see them. Love is the force that holds life together, not as a fleeting emotion, but as a state of being. When love flows through your actions, words and thoughts, it transforms everything it touches. Love is not dependent on conditions or approval, it exists as your natural essence. It is not limited to relationships. It is a way of seeing life with openness and reverence. When love becomes your foundation, you no longer live in fear, for love expands beyond fear. It gives meaning to struggle, patience to pain, and light to darkness. True love is strength disguised in gentleness. It does not demand, it gives. It does not control, it liberates. A heart filled with love can face betrayal without bitterness and loss without despair. Love gives you the power to remain kind when the world is unkind and to remain soft when life turns harsh. It does not mean being naive, it means being aware yet choosing peace. When you act from love, your presence itself becomes healing. You no longer need to fight to prove yourself because love itself becomes your authority. Love also brings clarity. It allows you to see beyond the surface of people and situations. You begin to understand that anger, cruelty or hatred are merely signs of a heart in pain. Instead of reacting, you respond with awareness. This is not weakness, it is mastery of self. Love does not blind you, it opens your eyes to the truth that every being is struggling in their own way. When you see through love, judgment dissolves and compassion naturally arises. You become a mirror reflecting peace instead of conflict. The world will always test your softness, trying to convince you that caring too much is foolish. But a soft heart is the only thing that can transform pain into wisdom and cruelty into understanding. Let the world be as hard as it wants. Your power lies in staying tender, conscious and kind. To keep your heart soft in a hard world is not to escape life's roughness, but to rise above it with grace. That is the strength that heals not just you, but the world around you.